The Enlightenment gave us an audacious dream, mastery over nature. With reason, we could harness its power, bend it to our will, and build a better world. And for a time, it seemed we were succeeding. But here's the question we have to ask ourselves now. At what point does mastery become exploitation? At what point does progress become destruction? Because that's where we are. Climate change isn't a distant threat. It's the fire we lit ourselves. And if we don't put it out, it will consume everything we've built. Let's start with the root cause: capitalism. This system we worship prioritizes one thing above all else: profit. And profit thrives on exploitation. Fossil fuel companies, the architects of this crisis, have known for decades that their business model is destroying the planet. Exxon knew, Shell knew, but instead of acting, they spent billions sowing doubt, lobbying against regulations, and blocking green energy transitions. And it's not just the fossil fuel giants. Resource extraction is capitalism's bread and butter. From rainforests turned into farmland to mines ripping apart sacred lands, the drive for profit doesn't just take, it destroys. And who pays the price? Vulnerable communities, indigenous peoples forced off their lands, small island nations watching their homes sink beneath the waves, the global south bearing the brunt of a crisis they didn't create. This isn't just about rising temperatures or melting ice caps. Climate change is a slow-motion disaster that magnifies every tension we already face. Food and water scarcity are already sparking migration crises as people flee unlivable conditions. And when resources become scarce, conflicts erupt. Wars over water, border disputes fueled by desperation, entire regions destabilized. This is the chaos of greed. And the most brutal irony? Those least responsible suffer the most. The poorest nations, the smallest carbon footprints, the people who've lived in harmony with the land, they're the ones drowning, starving, and fighting to survive. Meanwhile, the billionaires build bunkers and buy up land on higher ground. They profit from the collapse they've caused, leaving the rest of us to burn. But here's the thing. This isn't just an environmental issue. It's a moral reckoning. Climate change forces us to confront who we are as a species. Are we going to let greed, apathy, and division dictate our future? Or are we going to rise above, reclaim our humanity, and act as stewards of this earth? The Enlightenment wasn't about exploiting nature. It was about understanding it, respecting it, and using reason to build a better world. That's the promise we've betrayed. But it's also the promise we can still keep. The solutions are within our reach. Renewable energy, reforestation, sustainable agriculture, these aren't dreams. They're realities we can build right now. But we have to stop letting profit dictate policy. We have to stand with the communities on the front lines of this crisis. And we have to demand a system that prioritizes life over money. Climate collapse is the test of our time. It's not just about saving the planet. It's about saving ourselves. Reason demands action. Justice demands unity. And our survival demands that we rise above the chaos of greed.